What's up again, my friends? How's it going today? Where do I start? It's, I suppose it's about, I think it's August 3rd, 2017. Should start off with the date here, because I'm recording this on two different devices. I wanted to start off by saying, first off, I haven't been making many videos lately, so this is kind of just a hey, how's it going video. Nothing in particular, no like conveying subject matter, although I'm working on one right now that I'd like to put together and hopefully I'll upload it later on in the day. It's just too hot to think. I can't even think. I can't even move. It's like 105 degrees in Portland and humid and smoky. I mean, really smoky. The BC wildfires have just pulled the smoke down while all the heat gets pulled in from southern Oregon, and it's just a frickin' oven here in town. So I've just been taking it easy the last couple days, trying to, you know, get some work done here and there, and maybe a couple little tasks, but mostly nothing. And I made a couple videos. I made one 2 nights ago and then erased it. Then I made one yesterday, and didn't upload it. And I'm working with this device right now. I'll pick it up here, and I might even overlay or dub my voice over video. So here's what I've got. I got my camera that has the microphone on top, and the sound quality is pretty crappy, of course. I mean, it's decent, but the camera has about had it. So I picked this up the other day. It's a Tascam DR05, I think. DR05. This is an amazing device. Right now I've got the fur stuff on the top, but it's just kind of a wind baffle. I'll show you what it looks like. It's just got the left and right mics. So if I do dub it over, then, you know, I can be like left, right. It's great for when you're trying to get the all-around view of like what's going on in a group or something, and you're having maybe a conversation or an interview. But anyhow, it takes SD cards, and the thing's designed for recording like music. You can record. I sat down with my acoustic guitar and just plucked a few notes in a quiet room and sung along, and it's like so crisp. It's almost like recording on like an 8-track, you know, like in the old days. So microphones have come a long way. That thing's about $100, I think. I got mine, I shopped around until I found one that was new for $85, because I'm a cheapskate. But I put off paying for something like that for like 1.5 years, 2 years. I've wanted one. And so this allows me to now make videos from like really far away, if I wanted, with my camera, like maybe up on a rock ledge or something, and then record the audio along with it to accompany it, and all I have to do is edit it in. And I'm also going to use this for doing a couple of picture videos. I guess it would be like a vlog where I'm showing pictures and talking along to it. I was just saying to my wife, you know, I wish I had more documentary making skills. I wish I knew more about computers. I wish that I could go in and just use a program that and just make this amazing a movie, you know, edit all this stuff, render it, and she's like, well, just do a tutorial and learn how. And I'm like, I know I can, I know I could. It's not a matter of not being able to do it, it's just a matter of so much time's involved to learn one little aspect of making movies or documentaries, you know. You have to learn a specific software, and I know I've looked into them all. It's just too many other things to do, you know. I have a lot of different interests, so it's hard for me. I go from one thing to another. And I think the reason I haven't been making videos lately is because I've been in like a funk. Not depressed, and it's not just because of the heat or anything. I wouldn't even call it a funk. I should call it a cycle, because I go through cycles, and I guess that really relates to what I wanted to talk about the other day that I never got around to making a video, was just how we should, you know, it's something I've mentioned over and over because it's something I'm always thinking about, but to really embrace when we're at the top of our cycle. The way I picture it in my mind, of course, it's metaphor, you know, it's all metaphor. So I just picture it literally a cycle going, and you're going higher and higher, trying to climb toward being a better person, if that's your thing. And that's very subjective. I'm not talking about superiority or anything. I believe that there are better people, and I believe that because most people I've talked to agree that there are ways to better yourself. And if you can better yourself, then you you can you compare yourself to a person who's chose a path of, say, destruction, thievery, corruption, the things that we frown upon. I believe that some humans reserve the right to say, I'm a better person than that, because that's why we have values to uphold and standards to live to. So anyhow, the point being, you're going through these cycles and you're trying to become a better and better person, and you, when you're at the peak of your cycle, embrace that and realize, all right, get as much done as you can in that time. And then perhaps you go into kind of like maybe a boredom or depression. That's fine. You will not sink as low as you had before, as long as you're climbing. Because the next time you'll climb even higher. It's like going up a rung. It's not 1 step forward, 2 steps back. It's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And that's, I guess, literally, a good interpretation of it. And I believe this because I've seen it over and over and over in myself. And I've seen it. I have daily cycles just like everyone else. In the morning I feel a certain way, I go through my routine, and by the evening I feel like a completely different person. I get most of my my energy or motivation actually in the late afternoon to the evening, or I feel at my clearest, most functional. Right now it's about 5:30 p.m. But I'm not a huge night owl. It's not that I stay up all night. I actually get up pretty early, 7 a.m. So everybody has their own schedule and their own cycles, and that's throughout a day. Within a week, we have the same thing that we developed. If you have a work schedule where you have weekends off, or whatever your weekends are, if they're routine, your mind gets into that routine. Just like kids know when the weekend's coming, it's just, you feel it, And you get that circadian rhythm, and then you get these other rhythms that you've, added in. The day and night cycles, along with the weekly cycles, the monthly cycles, which are pretty well known naturally because of menstrual cycles, which are generally about 28 days. So nature does follow certain patterns and have certain cycles, and within that we have good and bad days, and good and bad weeks, good and bad months. I like to think that I don't have bad days, I just have bad moments. It's one of the things that I've learned that's crucial for me. I try not to dwell on something negative that happened and let it ruin my day or my week. It's one of the things I see happen so much to people. I have to get something to drink, so I'll be right back. Thanks for bearing with me. For this video, I really wanted to say, water's so good when you're thirsty. I just wanted to say it's been a pretty awesome ride. 12,000 subscribers. I realized the other day, I'm like, 12,000 subscribers? That just blows my mind that I would have that many people listening to my rambles. When I tell my friends that, because I don't talk about my YouTube channel really in general to people I meet or friends, it's not, I think it might be partially because, I don't know why. I guess it's probably just because I don't want to seem like I'm talking about my channel, because it's not something I do for a living. It's something I just do to talk about my life. And maybe I'm afraid if I talk about somebody in my family in my videos that maybe they'll watch it and be like, oh, I know you're talking about me. It's funny because, I've mentioned my mom in my videos and she'll call me out on it, or but I don't really talk about my friends and family that much. And it's just because generally I'm pretty content with all of that. It's I don't really have anything to complain about, so to speak. And with my family life at home, with my wife and kids are just, there's so many problems as a parent that you can have raising kids. But that just goes with the territory. There's ups and downs. It's just, there's cycles and cycles and cycles, and watching kids grow up, because I have, my 2 youngest are almost, well, this month actually, because I'm going to the Eclipse Festival in a couple weeks. I'm really excited. And you know, like less than 2 weeks now. We've got early entry passes and a camping car pass and a 7-day pass for the event. And we're going with our whole family. My wife and I are taking our 2 kids. Well, immediate family, not extended, but I guess not my mom's and her mom is not going or anything, but us and our 2 youngest, which are, he's going to turn 21 the day, or he's going to turn 8 the day after the eclipse, because they're going to be 5 and 8 in the next month. And then I have my oldest, who's 22, and he's going to be there too, and he's going to bring his friend and their girlfriends, and so we're going to have a beautiful camp and an awesome setup with the whole fam, and it's just really good to be able to go to something like that and you know, to still be able to even communicate with your parents is something to be said. I know a lot of people, you know, like with my mom and I, you know, sometimes she thinks that maybe we don't get along very well because we don't agree on certain subjects, but I try to tell her that it's not. I say all families are like this. There are very few families where the kids and the parents are completely tight when it comes to our opinions or ideas. So we just, you know, we go back and forth and have our own opinions on what's what, and that's okay, because we're still people, we're still friends, we still love each other. And that's what's important. It's community. It is love. And that's why instead of dropping my kids off at a babysitter for a week, even if I could, I wouldn't. I want to take them with us and give them this experience. There are like 7 stages. There's a whole kids biosis thing in there, because the event's called Symbiosis, and they're holding it here because of the eclipse. But so in a couple weeks, I'm going to be sitting in the path of totality for 2.5 minutes of completely dark sun, and I just thriving on the idea of it. For me, the anticipation of doing something is so much more than the event itself sometimes, much of the time. Even though this time the event's going to be pretty phenomenal. But for example, sometimes I look forward to going out for a night, and I'll think about it every day for a couple of weeks before it happens. When you actually go, it's just a few hours, and then you have to drive there and drive back and all that. But the time thinking about it and planning for it and preparing, it's like, that's what life is. I've really thought about that lately. We talk about wasting time, and for me, the perspective is, it's very subjective. You have the idea that wasting time means, when I ask people that, what is wasting time? I say, well, we're not getting anything done, or, you know, times when you could be working. I say, well, what are you working towards? You know, animals, when you observe nature, it seems like, at least I had this image that, you know, everything has to struggle to survive somewhat, competition, because that's what I was taught. Of course, in recent years, I've learned that's not true. In fact, trees will feed their young. They actually photosynthesize, push nutrients down and sugars back through the roots and up into the other trees, through the mushrooms and the fungal colonies, of course, the mycelium. It's a full network, and everything cooperates. Well, animals do the same thing. Just because a wild cat's out there and there's a deer doesn't mean he's going to eat it. It's not a matter of just kill everything you see, and it's also not a matter of work your ass off to get your food. You work hard for a little bit, and then you chill. You look at most communities of animals, and they spend most of their time in leisure activities. And they enjoy hanging with the group and playing. And they enjoy getting high. You know, I found that to be one of the most interesting things. You know, there are bighorn sheep that climb the mountains just to look for this particular lichen, which is, a lichen is a combination of a fungus and an algae, I believe. So they can live symbiotically on rocks and in trees and whatnot. And they will chew this stuff off of these rocks because it gives them like a buzz, and they'll wear their teeth down getting this stuff off. But it's not just them. There are several animals. There's leopards in the jungle that eat Banistropsis capivine, which is an MAOI, which can give psychedelic-like effects. And one of the most amazing ones is, and I think something that really to make it a point, because I don't want to sit here and just say, oh, animals get high. I have a point for it. Dolphins. I saw this morning, actually. Somebody posted this video, and I'd seen it before, but I forgot all about it. They'll catch a puffer fish, which releases a neurotoxin that's somewhat narcotic-like effect in small doses, and they'll chew it, just nibble it, and irritate it, and get this toxin released, and they'll pass it around. And the dolphins will pass this fish around like a joint until they're all adequately high, and then they'll proceed to look at their reflections on the surface and hang out upside down and laugh, do whatever they do. I find this fascinating because dolphins are super intelligent animals. We know this, obviously. What we don't know is how intelligent other animals are. We assume that because animals are large, they must be intelligent. This is generally true to an extent, but crows, for example, are massively intelligent. For the size of their brains, they can remember faces, do puzzles, do things that other animals can't do. So it's not about how smart, intelligent an animal is at is it about figuring things out? Is it about intelligence? Is it about cunning? Or is it about empathy? You know, that's what sets us apart, we believe, as humans, is our empathy. But that's a little bit of nonsense too, don't you think? Now we know that animals do more in the loss of their, their loved ones. And check, make sure the camera was still going. It's been a long video. And I'm going to upload it anyway, because I used to do these all the time. And the reason, just kind of rambling, I'm talking about life, and I call them a rant or ramble. And the funny thing is that, just to kind of backtrack a little bit, with this channel, it's, I've always loved the ability to talk about what I want and to not give a shit. Not advertising on the channel is what's allowed me to do that. I've heard so many YouTubers lately complaining about being censored, and it's funny because when you really get down to it, you find out that at least all the ones I've seen so far aren't being censored. They're just not getting their ad revenue because they advertise on YouTube. And I've always said, well, I don't want to advertise because it's not worth pennies to me. It's not just about title content, because I could talk about things that are, I can make good videos, and I'd rather get Patreon, donations or PayPal donations from the people, even a few, than get pennies from these huge companies advertising on my channel if I were to start making like informational videos, which is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. I bought a green screen, I got a little, clip-on microphone, and now I have this other one over here, which is phenomenal. So I can link them up together and try to make some pro-style videos down the road, but it just takes so much time. And anyhow, the thing about the channel that I realized is lately I haven't wanted to really, I don't know, I feel like since I have more subscribers, maybe that I shouldn't do my rambles anymore. It just kind of, I've never really thought that as actually in those terms, but I'm asking myself and wondering, am I going to be affected anyway by the amount of people I have subscribed to my channel? Imagine if I had 50,000, 100,000, or a million. And I think a million people don't want to watch my shit. Nobody, I just talk about random boring crap. And then I'll see guys like on the YouTube feed, like Casey Neatstat, or whatever the hell his name is. And, hey man, I got nothing against the guy. I just, somebody like, I saw one of his videos on my feed, and I checked it out one time, and it was him on an airplane, living it up in the lap of luxury, and now they pop up now and again with these, new sunglasses, or, skateboarding in some other country, and I think that's all great that people want to watch, but it's really, my point being that if people can watch that kind of stuff, why wouldn't they watch a guy talk about philosophy and random life stuff? Well, they do. And I'm not just talking about my channel, but people who do what I do, just talk about life. You can get a certain amount of people, but if you really want to cater to the masses, you have to talk about garbage. And that's how you get millions of viewers, but they're not good. They're not the kind of viewers that I would want. That's what I'm getting at. I'm really grateful that I have people who watch my channel who actually give a shit. At least, most people actually seem to have something rational to say. The discussions in the comment section are generally respectful. There's a few crude jerks out there, or people who maybe get upset about something and want to argue. And of course there will be my retaliations and my ego and someone else's ego clashing. That's just life. That's okay. Because I have nothing against anyone out there. Nothing against any other YouTubers, or, you know, I just do my thing. And that's how I've found to live my life. It's a phenomenal way to live life. To not be concerned about what so-and-so is saying, or what so-and-so is saying. I still listen, because I'm interested. But only if it's something I feel like I can utilize in my life. So I've discovered that the only important things are the things that, you know, if I want to learn about something, for the sake of learning about it, I think that's great. That's fun. Science is amazing. I love learning that kind of, you know, the new discoveries through, you know, CRISPR, gene therapy, and splicing, and I like to know what's going on in that field, because it's interesting to me. But I know it's just for the sake of knowledge. That's not going to help me to understand how CRISPR works. So, when it comes to daily life, the most valuable things that I have learned that are useful, and that or not self-help books, but Eastern philosophy, Zen type thinking of, you know, this is it, this is life, this is now, this is where we are right now, and just doing what I do. And that's led me through, like I said, so many cycles on my channel where I look back to like 5 years ago when I started it, and I was talking about prepping, you know, getting ready for disasters. And I've still got my, you know, dehydrated food here and stuff, and I'm glad I do, because I've never let up on that belief that the world's going to go to hell in a handbasket, at least temporarily, you know, like a renewal, but a cleansing, if you will, of the purge of humanity's great scab that we've created. Not humanity itself, because humans are amazing creatures. It's, you know, the abuse and over consumption that's causing the problem. But that'll have to stop eventually. But we as people, we're pretty cool overall. I mean, I don't feel like we don't fit in or anything. I don't know if I think I might have mentioned this earlier in the video, but maybe it was the last one, but a lot of people don't feel like we fit in as humans. Like we, for some reason, are like a disease here. And I think that that's only true to certain people, you know. It's that it's not that humans are the disease. It's that humans have a disease and we've let it spread. And not everybody has it. And there is a cure. But we haven't quite been able to pin down what that is yet. You can't just say educate people. No, you can't just say love one another. No, I'm sorry, that's a full-on cop-out. Bullshit. Loving one another is phenomenal. It's a great thing. That's why I go to festivals and events and Burning Man type, you know, things. It's a community. It's people who care about one another. But it still does. The rest of the world goes on. You know, there's always going to be that element of negativity out there that we have to deal with. I feel like we as a species are finally at a precipice now, at a point where we can move forward and evolve. And we can finally let go of these genetic heritage markers like, you know, fear, anxiety, and let go of our past ideas and move forward into the realization that we can help, at least, educate the next generations to see who they are, to truly know who they are as people. Maybe that's not enough, but I don't know. I imagine this video is getting pretty long, so I guess I'm going to go. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to my viewers who watched this. Anybody who's watched this long, I commend you. I mean, no, I shouldn't say that in a good way. I don't commend you because you're watching my video and it's just my ramble. But I just mean, I think that's cool that you're willing to listen to what I have to say. I really do. I really am grateful for all my subscribers. I mean, I'm not just some arrogant jerk out here saying this is what I think. I'm saying this is what I think. What do you think? You know, so peace and love, all that stuff. Take care.